Alright, today we are going to make our snowman for doing all of your vocabulary words. The first thing you need to do is get your string and make sure it's completely in half by matching up the ends. And then when you pull it tight on the other end, that should be about the midpoint right here on the end of the loop. So I'm going to take that loop, tie it in a knot, okay, and then I'm going to double check to make sure that that gives me about equal sides on both ends of the string. It's pretty close. Okay. And then, just to make life a little bit easier, I'm going to tape this down, and I have a paper back here so that I can hold everything, or so that you can see everything, but I'm going to tape that down onto the desk. Okay? And so now my strings are taped down, and I can hold them down. Our pattern, we've got our snowman here, and we need to start up here at the top of the hat. So the first thing I need to do is get one of the beads for that. There should be a total of 35 beads for the body and the top of the hat, and then you choose a total of 25 beads for the scarf and the hat, and then some colors for your eyes and the little belly button thing. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is take one of the white beads and put it through one end of the string all the way down. And then I'm going to take the other string. Okay, so I've got this one here, and I'm holding the other off to the side. And I am going to thread it through the opposite way on that first bead and pull that one tight. And this almost ties a knot with your beads, okay? And hopefully, since it's clear, you can see how the strings are crossed through on the inside of that bead. Okay, so now we need to do the hat, and we're going to do a row of 2. So I'm going to get 2 of the colors, the beads for my hat, put them on the end of one side, one of the strings, let it go all the way down, and then I'm going to take this other one that is not attached to those pink beads yet and feed it through the opposite way of just those 2 beads. And then I'm going to pull that tight. Okay. So now I've got that first row. Now I need to do the next row. That's 3 more beads. So I'm going to get 3 beads of my hat color and put them on one side of the string. And then I'm going to take the other string and feed it through the opposite side that the other one went to. Pull it tight, and again, we've basically tied another knot. Okay, now I need the next 4 for the hat. So I've got 4 of the hat color. Put them on one side, one string, and then take this other string and feed it through the opposite side. Okay, and pull it tight. Okay, so now I've done the whole hat, and now I need to do the snowman's head. So that is 4 white beads. And I'm just going to keep doing the exact same thing. String them on. Ah, it happens. Okay, so string down the one side, and then I take the other and go through the opposite way for that row of beads. Pull it tight. Okay. Now I need to do his like face, and it's a white bead and then the eye, white bead, eye, white bead. So white bead, I chose black for my eye, white bead, and then another black for the eye, and a white bead. Okay, so there should be 5 total. And then I'm going to take the other end of the string and feed it through the opposite side. Okay, so now I need to do the bottom of the snowman's face, which is 4 more white beads. Okay. And then back through the opposite way. Tight. If you go too tight, then it kind of gets all wonky, but if you do just the right amount, then it'll look like that. Okay, so the next part is where we're going to get a little bit tricky. Okay, so now we're doing the scarf again. First, I need to do 5 of my scarf beads on one side. And it shouldn't matter which side yet. Okay, and then I need to take the other end and string them through. Okay. This is the part that gets a little bit tricky. You can make it easy and just go to this next row on the snowman and forget about the parts of the scarf that stick out. If you want to make it easy, I strongly recommend you do that. Okay? If you still want the parts of the scarf that stick out though, okay, so I'm going to take just the string from one side, and the first thing I need to do is there's 6 beads on this top part. I need to do just 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I've got 5 there, and then the 6th one, okay, this is the tricky part. Okay, so the 6th part is going to be my end, and so when I take this string back through, I'm going to skip that first bead. Okay, and I'm just going to go through the 5 that are on the inside. Again, this is the part where you kind of have to hold everything tight. It takes a little bit of working to get it to go the right way. Okay, so that bead on the outside, that's kind of the knot that's holding the string here, and it holds all the rest of those beads in together. Now, I need to do the next part of the scarf, which this time it's 4 beads and then 1 on the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's my 4, and I'm keeping it on the same string. I'm just ignoring the one that's off to the side right now. I'm just worried about this string. Okay, and then 1 more bead for my end piece, and then I'm going to take the string, skip the first bead, and just feed it through the 4 that are on the inside. And again, you're going to want to make sure that everything's pretty tight. Not too tight, but pretty tight. Okay. So now I've got the scarf done, and now I just need to do the body. So now we're going to go back to the normal way of doing it. So we've got 6 white beads. 1, 2, 3. I'll find that later. 4, 5, 6. Okay, and if your end starts to get split like this and it gets to where you can't get it through, try tying a little knot at the end or cutting it off if you need to, but you don't want to cut too much. Okay, so now I'm going back to normal. I've got 5 on one side, and now I'm going to take that thread and go back the opposite way. And this row is going to lock that scarf in place. Make sure they don't get too tangled. Okay. Okay, and now we're going to do this row. So it's 3 of the white, 1 of the button, and then 3 more white. And it doesn't really matter which side you go through on, as long as you go back with the opposite side. Okay, so 3, 1 for the button, 3, okay. So there's the 7 there. I take the other side and go back the opposite way. Okay. And now I need to do this row. So 6 of the white. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then I take the opposite string and go back through it. Trying to come out. Okay. I'll do a few at a time if I have to, and then that way it'll go all the way through. Okay. And now I've got just 1 row left to go. The last 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Make sure you keep it kind of tight. If you go too tight, then the layers build up on each other, but kind of tight. Okay. Through. Okay, and then from here, I'm just going to tie a knot for right now, kind of just on the outside edge, so that there's something holding it in. If you want, you could also like glue the ends so that the thread stays inside. We should get a square knot on that. And then I'm going to cut off the extra, or again, glue it in on the side. And there we go. We have our glow-in-the-dark snowman. And remember, this snowman, these white beads are UV beads, which means not only do they glow in the dark, but if you take them out into the sunlight, they'll change colors. Most of these ones change to like purple and pink colors. All right, have fun with your snowman.